Hi everyone, so here's Moonlight Soul and my good friend Soul sees Marissa from Growing the Flow, and this is Stars in the Cards episode 33. And this is how we're going to enter into 2025 with, and we're going to talk about January. Hello Marissa, happy holiday.
Hello, Happy New Year. Just about
Yes,
as we come in. Yes, we're in the countdown here to a new calendar year anyway. It's the first of several new years we'll be marking over the coming months, but it's here. We made
yeah.
it.
It feels in one way that, oh my God, 2024 went so quickly, but in the other hand, it feels like there were so many years encapsulated in that one year alone. Like it's like a lot of ground was covered.
Many chapters were written, right? I could say we did a couple volumes throughout the year.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
so true. Like there really it does feel like many years within a year. And for as slow as the start was, maybe to the point of like, how did we get here? And just, all of it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The wheels turned and we're stepping into the new. So I'm excited to see what comes forward here for this year nine of the Hermit uh,
exactly.
into 2025.
It's gonna be fascinating one year from now to observe how
I
far
know. I'm
we've got.
already thinking like I want to go back and look at our stars and cards of January of 2024 just to like, just kind of mark those moments to say, yeah, like if we meet back here in a year, what all has unfolded. That's been coming up a lot, like in the different readings, card pulls and such. I've been saying like January 2024 you versus December 2024 you. It's really a good marker to because sometimes we just kind of go through the motions and one day bleeds into the next and you're just sort of surviving or feeling like you're head down and then when you have that moment of seeing that big picture that you can look back over the expanse of 12 months just as a marker that you can really see, how you stepped into the new year of last year as to how you're stepping out of it, and what all you're bringing with you. It really gives you that sense of clarity and also like prioritizing what really matters, what has meaning.
Yeah, it's interesting because of course we entered this year in January 2024, same way we ended it with the new moon in Capricorn.
You're right. You're right. I know. You were right there at the beginning, be like, no, no, I'm serious. Like there's really all these Capricornian lunations this year. Like it's really something to note, and it's like, wow, so we really are, as we're recording this, preparing to finish out with that new moon in Capricorn to bookend the other end. So that's gotta
Yeah.
be
So that
meaning.
definitely tells you like who were you when you started this cycle because the cycle is just getting reset. And as you and I just mentioned short while ago, that we have no new moon in Capricorn in 2025. So this cycle which you are now resetting, you're going to reset in January 2026. So you have the whole 2025 to work on this topic of a Capricorn, which is the self-mastery, the becoming your inner authority, becoming the conscious creator of your reality. And this is really what this year of nine, Hermit, is taking you within to learn to master that. How do we do that? How do I create the life of my dreams? The North Node in Pisces, the life of my dreams, the highest, potential that I have available to me. This is what's going to be mastered in 2025 through us mastering our thoughts and emotions.
Yeah, we're right back there. We're right back. Every road leads back to you. And this is where,
Exactly.
and it's where the tarot ends us with the world, this full circle on the fool's journey that you come back to you in the middle of it all, in the middle of your universe. And just as you were saying that, I was thinking like so often we do look to the external
Mm.
for the answering of those questions, but what we're going to see as we step into this year nine, again, we're talking about 2025, adding up to that number nine, and from the tarot lens of the hermit, that inner wisdom, that inner light, and then the minor arcana. I always describe as the details that make up the people, places, and things. So it's almost like your inner world is the major, is the significant.
Mm.
Your outer world are like the minor aspects that give it color,
The
that bring in the
details.
yeah, the details. And so it's like this opportunity now, kind of like standing at this blank slate, this clean, opportunity for us to paint that canvas of 2025 and really thinking about the way we want to interact and work with all of those details, all of those minor aspects as they weave in a major way into our own story, our own journey, a next chapter. And even then, it is just a chapter, right? In the big scheme of things. So it just kind of is perspective, an opportunity for really getting some perspective on everything too.
And yeah, and we have to mention, as we record in this, Chiron is stationed in direct. That's an important thing to pay attention to. Why would Chiron station direct right before new moon in Capricorn and the beginning of a new year? Yeah, because
Oh,
with this Pisces Virgo axis that we have going on, and as you said, the number 9 is associated with Hermit, and Hermit is associated with Virgo. And actually, in opposition is the Moon card, which is the number 18. And actually, the Moon is the Pisces, and that's what we have, North Node in Pisces. So this perfection, and it is all about this putting everything that we learn as a humanity until this point into practice, and through discernment, through the lens of understanding, okay, if I keep going on in this trajectory, this is where I'm going to end up. And if I want a different result, I need to change the trajectory, which is, this Virgo also ruled by Mercury, just like Gemini. You have a choice, like there is a message. It's up to you what you're going to do with it. And with the Pisces, it is the opportunity to, yes, release that which is not in resonance with where you want to go, but also to get a deeper understanding of who you really are, to reconnect with the vast being that you really are, the embodiment of your soul. The Pisces in the highest vibration is the wholeness, is the oneness, is all there is. And having the vision that this which you see manifested, this life you are experiencing in the moment, is just a fracture of what's possible. So reach for the stars. This is the year for it.
yeah. Yeah, that feels really expansive. It feels like there's a lot of hope, which I know is a word that kind of gets that play on like, yeah, hope for this, hope for that. But I find hope to be the spark. Hope is
Yes.
just that ignition, then that we have the faith that we are creating something that, all these experiences we've had up until this moment have informed us, and we take from that, we extract from it the gifts, the lessons, the blessings. I like to say at the end of the year, take the best and leave the rest in a way that we're releasing and letting it go with love, with gratitude, but taking it forward into the infinite of all possibility, that anything is possible. And when you start there, then you can go anywhere from there. So that just feels, I don't know, it just feels like an opening, like we're really opening up to something. Um, so yeah, I'm really curious to see what's going to come forward for us here.
Absolutely. And just one more thing I want to add before we pull the cards. Like we keep saying with the Hermit, that he's got the star in a lamp. And what I just said, Spirit straight away gave me the picture of the Hermit card when I said reach for the stars.
Yeah.
Because the star, which is the star card, the future, the Aquarius, the North Node in Aquarius in summer 2026, that is whatever you want it to be. So reach for the star, the future that you want to create, because we will start seeing it manifested more and more in 2026, because that's when we have the next new moon in Capricorn, and Capricorn is about form, it is about manifestation. So at the moment now, with this new moon in Capricorn, which is happening, like as we recording this on Sunday, it's happening Monday, Tuesday, depending when you are where you are in the world, but it's literally the last thing that's happening this year because then we're moving into 2025 and Pluto trines the south node. But you are seeding your intention for what you want to see manifested going forward. And through the process of healing, clearing, deciding with the Virgo fashion, we're going to organize and discern and just organize our life, being very efficient, like Virgo is. But what is the vision? Why are we doing that? What is the point? What is the meaning? And that is your star in that lamp.
I love that.
Become
Yeah.
become really clear about what it is that you want. Because if you don't want, how it can hit you in the face. You won't even know you found it because you won't know.
Yeah. Well, it's just also the fact that it's with you. It's with you all along. You're that which you seek outside of you that feels like this expansive, infinite potential that's out there is actually right here. So it's all this. It's just it's a really beautiful. I had never, maybe I did, and I just forget hearing that. In Tarot 101, way back when, like that in the Hermit's land. Ever since you said that, I was like. Yes, that's beautiful. It really just brings it full circle. And if we're geeking out too much and this doesn't make sense, what we're saying is, and you just can't make out the perfection of it. That the card nine, and then you have the star, right? Which is also, bringing us into that which we hope for, we wish for, is what is this, what comes next, with that. And so, this opportunity for us to really return to self in order to allow that to be created outside of us.
And that's
So,
actually it, because the star was in opposition with the Leo, with the strength card we had this year. So that's exactly what this year was about. Yes, it was about taming the beast within and about for you to discover what is my authenticity, if from no other way than through contrast. But this year, through everything we've gone through, these million chapters in one year, these million years encapsulated in 1 year, and
yeah.
I'm sure probably everybody watching this looks at January and looks at now and goes like, holy moly, I gone a long way. This was all to show you what is your star. So through that learning to become strong and learning about like, oh, it's not this, this is, you cross my boundaries, this is not in alignment, this, my needs change, my values change, blah blah blah, all the rest of it. You are discovering what the star is through the contrast. And this is now with this Hermit. Okay, you have the star, you have it in your lamp, you know what it is, you're looking at it, it's shining your light forward because this whole year you were learning about it. Now you're going to follow it. You're going to follow it. And then next year will be of fortune. The destiny will change.
Yeah. And just in case we sound too optimistic, yes, the card after the star is the moon, which is going to be that opposition to the hermit, right? Because card 18 is that nine energy. And yeah, sometimes that's not clear in shadow. There's things that are illusory that we can't quite see, even now as we're talking about a new moon to finish out the year. So it doesn't mean that we got it all figured out. And, even more so, no, 2025 is a little more of a bridge year to the next one,
Yeah, because the
right?
culmination.
Yeah, it's this culmination of everything that we've been working to balance this year. And I feel like it's a playful in the way that we can work with that energy to see what works and what doesn't. And I think very often our goals, our inspirations, or our resolutions for the new year change, throughout the year. That what
Yeah.
you wanted in January to what you want now is probably very different. But that doesn't, negate the fact that you wanted those things at the beginning of the year, because your pursuit of those things or the energy that you put into those things all had that cause and effect that led you to where you are now. So
Exactly.
it's just, if you can see sort of like the perfection and all of that unfolding, despite all of the, ups and downs and rounds that we go through, apply that now when we're thinking about our intentions in the new year, and how that influences where we wish to go from here with that light.
And with the moon, I just wanted to add with the moon, because it is the card of Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. And like you said, yeah, it's a new moon. It can be quite hazy, quite unclear, quite like, like in a fog. And even in evolutionary astrology, the way I was being taught, it's not that I follow what I was being taught, but this resonated with me. When you have the Neptune square transit or anything Neptune, when people always go, oh, it's not clear, there could be a lot of lies and stuff. The only way that you will find your way forward is you trust yourself. You don't rely so much on your logic. You have to tune in, you have to trust yourself, but also is this step by step. You don't know the whole journey ahead. All you know is the right here, right now. You need to learn to trust yourself, ground in your body, the Virgo, and just listen for that which is not obvious, which is the monkey mind. That's the first thing that comes. So this will be, I feel, very important guidance throughout 2025, because, yeah, there might be more stuff going on in the world, trying to distract us, trying to, being unclear, being hazy, not knowing what's truth, what's lie, what's going on. The important thing is what is true for you. And for that, you need to tune in and just
Yeah.
step by step.
And it's an opportunity for you to apply those skills. So it actually serves too. So as much as we would like everything to be crystal clear and unfold for us in a direct pathway forward, a lot of those little pockets of the shadow and the aspects and things not being what they seem and such are all a part of that journey and the learning, the growth, the healing that all takes place through that process. We can't skip a step. And it's funny
Yeah.
because I was going to say, because I keep hearing it, above me, my daughter is putting together a vanity that she got for Christmas. So she's putting together something right now. And as soon as you said that, I thought, I know how it is when you're in the weeds of like following those terrible directions and you're trying to put together pieces. And if you miss one step, you put the handle on the wrong side or you missed a tool, like something you didn't know where it went, it undoes the whole thing. Like in order for you to build something stable, we have to go through every step, and that includes the ones that can be like clear as mud. So if you hear hammering or maybe some
Mercy.
exasperated cursing, that's my daughter trying to put together what I'm sure will be a beautiful vanity, but has its process. So,
Absolutely.
yes. With that, let's pull our first card
For
of
this
2025.
fated Capricorn new moon.
Yes, so we're going to do our favorite Queen of the Moon for a little flavor around this new moon that's culminating 2024 and creating an opening into 2025.
Yeah, until 2026, because that's how we open the 2026 year with new moon in Capricorn.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy. And
So
then just
everything you were building, this strength is preparing you for 2026. The 2025, just like you said, is the bridge from getting you where you are to where you want to go.
yeah. So let's see what that first step will be. Ooh, two wanted to come out. I'll shuffle and see. I just felt two. I didn't see them, but one card. New moon.
Oh yeah.
Yep, pretty much. Oh, it's
Oh, it's
30.
another nine.
It's a 9. Oh
Perfect.
my gosh. So this is such a great card because it's the green corn moon. So she's in like this cornfields that we see. But what I always say about that red balloon, it's like a pin in a map. You are here, right? Right here, looking at that expanse, looking at that potential, but like holding that lantern, holding that red balloon, which I kind of feel like could represent so many things. It sort of like encapsulates all that we've extracted from this last series of chapters and events that we've moved through, that we're sort of poised and we see this opening. Patience is the key word there that's coming in. So there's this, and again, she doesn't look in a rush, but definitely standing there pensive, sort of looking ahead
Hmm.
at what lies out there. But there is sort of this, again, I feel like with the balloon, it does feel a little bit hopeful in terms of, yes, it takes time, it's a process, and I understand the cycle. And like you were just saying about the Wheel of Fortune coming in on the other side of this next year, the wheel turns and we move through these different seasons, these phases. And, it's the thing about skipping steps. It's the thing about being here now and being in this moment with whatever it is and allowing it to serve you, to teach you, to heal, to bring forward whatever piece of information or understanding that is going to serve you on the next stop, is what I'm feeling there.
Yeah, and I'm literally like, it's again coming to me the same way that this entire year served the purpose to show you exactly what you need to be working on next year. So, like
Mm.
getting triggered through people, circumstances, situations resurfacing, unresolved, unhealed, old stuff coming around. Like it all just like it's the building of the strength, the resiliency, the uncovering the authentic essence of who we are, in opposition to the star card. So this patient card is like, this is like you said, this is where you are. This is your here and now. like be looking back, you know, the last days of the year, coming into the new year, be reevaluating, looking back how far we've gone. This is where we are right here, right now. And we, you know, have a certain vision, idea, what we want this year to usher in for us. But at the same time, we know that, okay, well, there is all this that is not that. So how are we going to bridge the gap? And it's saying, have patience. And in my own, you know, when I'm posting stuff in my, what you call it, you know, the descriptions, I always use balloon when I'm referring to releasing. So what do you need to
Mm.
release, you know, because I know also your analogy with the hot air balloon. What do you need to shed? What do you need to release so you can rise? You can rise above that which was before. So she's like literally approaching this portal. You know, she can see it, it's there, we have the vision, it's there, but you are right here, right now. And what is that which is holding you stuck in this position and preventing you from moving towards that which is already there? It's already there, you can already see it, you know, you can already feel it. So this is the 2025, is the closing of the everything that needs closing, the culmination.
And I think that's great, the release, because when you think about letting go of that, whether it be a balloon or in the hot air balloon analogy of those sandbags, you know,
Yeah.
the heavy things that are keeping it tethered there, that if you want to have that buoyancy, that aerodynamic, you know, be able to rise and float up or, you know, however that's presenting itself for you, it's lightening that load and releasing and letting go of all those things. So it's like, just that, maybe just that one balloon that you carry forward with you after having released. You know, you could take that analogy anywhere, but it really does feel like, you know, just this sense of um, having that sort of holding that in this moment and being here now and enjoying the journey in terms
Mm.
of, I think that's what the mantra was about. I have the patience, I take my time to enjoy the journey. And
Yes.
that's the thing, is often we do want to skip over those steps, those tedious steps. They're heavy and the whole host of things that can come with them. I just want that to be over and I want to get to the part where I figured it out and I know what I'm my purpose and you know I have all these wonderful things that I want in my life. But it's the contrast, as we've been saying, that really creates the appreciation for the richness of the experience that is creating where we wish to go. So it's again just bringing us back into the now moment, having the patience and the presence to be here now and not getting so far ahead of ourselves as we tend to do, because we want to map it out. We want to know what to expect. We want to start preparing all the potential, all the potential, you know, plan A, B, C. And that's just human nature. But I think it gives us an opportunity to take a breath, be here now in this moment, and have that energy of the patience, but also the purpose, the perseverance, the presence. You know, all of those P words coming to mind for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is just like, this is literally the perfect card for 2025. I really feel, because it really, in this, you know, picture, like you can see everything that this 2025 can represent and offer, but it's just the way what you focusing on. But it really is the South Node in Virgo, you know, we have to walk the human path, because the thing that's coming to me, you know, and spirit was offering me, like, you know, imagine that is your birthday coming up, but imagine somebody just decides, you know, I can't be bothered, I can't wait, I'm just gonna give it you gift now. And then you
Mm,
feel kind of like, oh, thanks, but I feel kind of robbed because I wanted to build the excitement, you know, or
yeah.
something. It's kind of like, thanks, but you know, I was looking forward to building up the excitement or something. And it's also, you know, like I know Abraham Hicks used this analogy a few times when they said that, imagine you get on a cruise ship in a port, and you are meant to, you know, come back to the same port when you get off the ship, and they say, you know, like the captain will announce that, okay, well, you know, as we're going to culminate, like finish the our cruise here, you might as well get off now. And you go like, what about the journey, you know? And like, yeah, but this is where you were coming to, you know, you were coming back to this same port, so you might just as well get off and we'll feel robbed. Or like as a spirit, you know, you come to planet, and if, you know, like, yeah, we have a certain idea what we want to experience, soul plan, but then we have a free will. Because if we had the details of everything, then why would we even bother coming? It's like, well, there's no point, I already know what's going to happen. So that's what I really feel, that the patience, like, yeah, you know, you have a vision, you have an idea, but actually if it all happened tomorrow, you would have nothing to look forward to. So just be
Yeah.
patient and build up the excitement and just enjoy the journey. Yeah, smell the roses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just enjoy the now moment and allow yourself to build up the anticipation for the punchline. You
Yeah.
know, the party with the one balloon at a time.
Like imagine when you were getting married, the build up.
Yeah. And hey, I know it seems like, and then it's over in the blink of an eye. Anytime you plan something, I know a lot of people feel that way about the holidays. It's
Yeah.
like, well, I know I do because there's so much planning and preparation and things and expectations, and then it's over just like that. And then
Yeah.
you're left with the after effects of a bunch of
Yeah.
different balloons. It's like when the party's over and the streamers and the balloons are laying on the floor and you're just sort of kicking them around and there's like, punch cups and everything around. It's like the after party. So it is. It's like, you could use all these analogies for this build up, but also just that appreciation in every stage of it, and really seeing that there's like an art to what we're creating, and even just even the corn that's on either side here of this field, and the stages of that representing growth and turning over the fields and harvesting versus,
Mm.
it's at its peak versus when it's all dried and withered and over, like just every moment has its purpose. And so whether it's the most exciting part of it, of the season or not, it's all has something that we can glean from it. So we're really extracting all of those goods from everything so that we can really truly appreciate, when we do realize whatever, because after that, there's another new year, so it's a process that you can't rush in terms of that word patience coming in for us. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good guidance over there.
That's definitely kicking us off for the new year. So we're going to stick with Psychic Tarot to set us a nice, sturdy platform as we step into the new year. So January's cards. We'll pick our three cards for the month of January. But like I always say when I do the week ahead readings, like the first week of a month is very indicative of sort of the energies that we may be experiencing throughout that month. So let's say the first month of a year, as we tune in, that these three cards are really setting a tone for us for not just the month ahead, but the year, just get a sense of the energies that greet us.
Yeah, it's
So
gonna be interesting to see what comes out because yeah, this year is kind of going to give us this year, this month is gonna give us an indicator for But again, you are the creator of your destiny, so this is just energy that we're reading at this present moment of time, but you can always change it.
that's right. This isn't a 2025 prediction video. It's even better. It's an empowerment check-in because we're checking in with the energy and from an empowered place that's showing us what's available, and then we get to decide how we want to engage it.
Oh yeah, that's a familiar one.
We know this one. It's funny because that's what I was seeing is like, in addition to the Hermit, of course, you then have the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands. And that's the minor arcana, the people, places, and things that make up. So we find ourselves here. Yeah, already seeing some things about that are
I think this
interesting.
is like a third month we got this card.
Yeah, one way or another, that's been coming forward for sure.
Because
Nine of
the other
Swords.
deck is the guy with the moons around his head, no?
Yes, darkest fears, right?
Yeah, and it's the same card. It's just,
It's just a different depiction, which is cool because there's always something we can glean from each one. So middle of the month, see what comes forward here. Feel that one. Well, are we getting the
oh
message?
yeah. And this is the Cancer full moon, right?
But I mean, hello.
No, right?
So again, I feel like we're always being told, hurry up, slow down, hurry up and slow down, like patience, patience, presence, but temperance coming in with the seed. So here's the full green corn field. Here's just the seed, and the cycle continues. So we really have this, can't make it up.
So that's a double underlining of the same energy. Just be patient.
Just be patient. All right. And then the final tarot card for the month.
Oh yeah.
Swords, trapped in fear.
Oh,
but
wow.
I see light coming in there. So when is the next new moon? Is it in January or February?
29th. No,
Okay.
it's the Aquarius new moon.
Okay. I was gonna say I got my calendar, but I haven't studied it yet for New Year for the new year.
Yeah, we
Because
have
I
the
was just
Cancer
thinking.
Full Moon on the 14th, and then 29th is the Aquarius new moon. Yeah.
Okay, so there is light coming in there, but it's giving us an
So that's
opportunity.
right after the inauguration, right?
Yes, it is in the US. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so that's definitely going to create a ripple effect.
for sure. Yeah, there's so much in here because even though, again, these are two minors, this is major, but it's a beautiful major. And I mean, that's such a beautiful energy because it's the middle way. It's the middle of the month, it's midway, it's temperance, it's balance, it's patience, it's a really lovely energy to bridge too that could be a little more frenetic, a little more, yeah, these are mental, these are both swords. So we're
Hmm.
just kind of taking a minute. I'm just taking in like everything that's come up is very like I see the blue, which is in this deck representing um the swords, which is connecting very much so with our mental, with our beliefs, with our ideas, with the mind, but also the blue is giving me the throat chakra, an expression and communication and what's being kept in versus expressed out, because this card is actually called suffering in silence,
Mhm.
where there's a perception of aloneness, or whereas traditionally that nine of swords is about fear, right? Like we said,
Yeah.
worries, fear, monkey mind, hamster wheel, insomnia, analysis paralysis, like all that kind of stuff. What's actually happening here, and I appreciate that mistiness, like if you can see that it's sort of foggy, it's not exactly clear. She sees in the distance like this where she wants to go, what appears to be the light on the horizon, but those words, and in fact we flipped the script on that, right? We came up with that suffering in silence in some of our other card polls, and it was like acceptance or surrender in silence, meaning not silence that feels like you're being silenced, but it's by choice of just holding, just you're not quite expressing anything yet because you're taking in this moment to get clear, to get your bearings, to process everything that has come thus far. Because I always say about her, it may feel like miles to go before we get to that light on the horizon, but look how far she's clearly come.
Mhm.
Scaling up to the top of this was no small feat. Just getting this far. And so if you need to take a moment, a breather, and if that feels overwhelming, if it feels like, wow, I just came through all of that 2024, take it and be there, but there is a sense of perseverance. The nine always brings that culmination, completion, almost to completion. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. So it's persevere, carry on. But maybe there's a breath to be taken in between where we just don't have to say or express or act anything yet.
I think it's also interesting that you have the two nines next to each other because the portal card is a 36, which is nine, and then we have that one, which is the nine of swords. But what I'm getting from it is that obviously we are entering into the year. There's a lot of stuff happening. If you are like my dad and watching news, it's like doom and gloom, and oh my God, what's going to happen next year? So, a lot of people might be having these feelings entering into 2025 that, oh, dread, what is this year going to bring, like, oh my God, like, so you have this card of the portal card, which says like, well, there is an entire universe opening up for you to create whatever the hell you want from this year. It can be whatever you want it to be, but then could be also people thinking like looking into the far shores and it's all cloudy and dusty and stuff, and I'm like, well, I don't see nothing positive here. It's all barren. It's like no hope and stuff. So it really depends on a lens that you use to look at the situation, because the nine of swords is a culmination card. Well, you can break free from this nightmare by mastering your mind, which I feel, it's so telling that the temperance card is in the middle, because it's like, the healing, the balancing, the seeding of the intention. Also, she has her eyes closed, so the intuition. But I really want to check. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but something just occurred to me, and I really want to check when exactly, because I have a feeling, but the ego wants to double check, but I have a feeling that the full moon in Aquarius is on 8/8 portal. And I do have it here. I just, obviously can't, I have to look at not my screen, but yeah,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that the new moon in Aquarius is on the 8-8 portal because it makes sense with the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords as being the last card of the month, which is alongside with the new moon in Aquarius, which is very important energy because of Pluto in Aquarius.
so the Aquarius full moon is on August 9th,
Is
but
it
I don't know
August
what
9?
time. It doesn't give me the time in my calendar, but
I got it here.
definitely over in the gateway because the 8-8 portal actually runs through, I believe, the 12th of August, like
Which is even
the
better because we have the 8-9, 9-8.
yes, which we have right here. We have the card
Exactly.
9, we have the card 8.
Yeah, let me see because I'll have the time here. Yeah, August 9, 3:55 Eastern. 3:55 Eastern.
Okay, so pretty much anywhere in the world, it's
It's gonna be on August 9th, yeah, even in Pacific that will be in
in the energies of the Lion's Gate.
so that's very interesting because of course with the Eight of Swords, the traditional depiction of the card is this person, with the blindfolds and all like, can't move, no choice, no nothing. And I just feel that it's really significant with the timing, with the new moon in Aquarius, which is seeding of the freedom, seeding of the liberation, that will be a first new moon of 2025. So that's
Yeah.
interesting because what are we working? What is the vision? What is the star? What are we working towards? What is this all for? This going inwards, seeding your intention, blah, 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 is for that Aquarian age, is for this birthing of the new earth. So it's, like I said, straight away what pinged in my head is like, oh yeah, that's after the inauguration and stuff. So whatever is going to be happening on the global stage that always has an impact, it's going to make people feel this way certain way,
Hmm.
the Eight of Swords. And this is to tamper with the energy of the potentiality of the energy that's available that then is going to become illuminated, with this 8-8 portal, even though it's on August 9th. But like you said, it's still in a gateway of it. And this is very profound. And that's why the temperance, I feel, is in the middle because it's saying you need to do the healing, be one, like be in this world, but not of this world. We are not of this world. We are in this world. The angel is one foot on the ground, one foot in the water. You need to find it within you, this balance through this healing, clearing we're going through to be able to override the external and impact your internal. So it no longer influences what's manifesting in your reality because you are in charge. And that takes you back to the first card. What is the vision you want to create? So I feel that January, not necessarily the beginning, but the end of January, there might be something stirring for the collective.
And it's not what it seems
Oh, for
because
sure.
that's what you're saying is that and actually I'm just gonna pull out all of our resources here so you can see quickly because
Oh, with the light,
yeah, I'm telling you because it's my
the book,
favorite Eight of Swords ever.
right? Sears, your favorite Bible.
So thank you,
Oh
Chris
yeah.
Ann. Um, this is so compelling because this is the same card that's here at the end of the month. And you see her. She is not bound. She is not blindfolded, but that's what she sees in the mirror.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
exactly what I feel is like
Illusion.
objects are not what they seem and how we perceive them. We have an opportunity to shed light on new light on things that if you feel the restriction, if it doesn't feel right, explore beyond that. There's an opportunity for us to look again, look more closely because I think to what you were just tapping into what I was feeling is like, yeah, I think things are going to be projected a certain way
Mm,
and they
mm.
may very well look like that when you look in that mirror, what's reflecting back to you, but actually, there is this opening. This one's called Trapped in Fear, but these bars are actually of our own making, our own perception, because when we and bringing it into where we get to from there, to me this seed is the star, it's the thing that we have right here in the Hermit's hand that is in our hand. But what's actually happening is she's already envisioning what that seed will become. It's not her reality today when she looks in the mirror, but she's already seeing this lily, which is a beautiful sign of death and rebirth in the tarot. The lily, the rose, there's the symbol of what is being rebirthed within us, the potential of the seed. So we get to decide what we're carrying in. If we want to believe that it is all doom and gloom, that, whatever scale you're looking at it, whether it is on the world stage, within politics, within the power that we give to one or a few people for a period of time, or whatever it is that we put our energy into, that's what we're going to grow. So what do you want your seed to be? You have this opportunity of discernment to say, like, what do I want to carry in through that portal, from 2024 to 2025, from new moon in Aquarius to full moon in Aquarius? What do I want to be fostering, nurturing, and growing in my life? And if I'm limiting myself by perceptions, by fears, or if there's other external forces that are creating that seed of doubt within me, what am I going to put my energy into? And that's where my power lies. That's where your power. That's where we have a choice
Hmm.
that is being shown here. As far as bringing in, restoring more balance there.
Exactly. And that's like straight away, like, the prison of your making, which is in your own mind, because you cannot control anyone outside of you. You can only control your response to that, to that stimuli. So it really is then, it's again now looking at the first card, just like you were saying about this, like she can vision the seed. It is not yet there, but she already sees it is that tapping into quantum field. So you can look at the portal in a first card and say, oh yeah, there is a quantum field. Look at that. Everything is possible there. So it really is that. And it's again bringing us back to the same thing, which is this idea that we need to learn to master our thoughts and emotions in order to master our reality. So we are no longer the victim to the external, whether it's a person, circumstances that tells you something, or you see something, or you hear something, or you read something that evokes emotion, and then you are like being just taken down that river, without you necessarily wanting to go down that way. So it's like, okay, we have a knee-jerk reaction, but if this doesn't feel right, it is not in alignment, it doesn't make me feel good, do I want to go down that route? Because I had the power to redirect my train of thoughts, to redirect my emotion. And for that, you need to learn to be still. You need the hermit. I need to learn it. I haven't mastered it, nowhere near. We need to learn to still in the sea, just like you have the yogis and all these masters. That's exactly the power that they were just able to like to cut out that external stuff and tune so deep within that it doesn't matter what was going on outside of them. They could redirect their being, their experience to that which they wanted to experience. And it is really that. This is really the key. This is the key to this, to this future that we wish to be manifesting. Because for as long as we allow this external environment, people, circumstances, stories, whatever, to influence how we feel, and then we create it and attract more of that by the law of attraction, we will never feel free. We will never feel we are in power of our life. So I feel, because the temperance actually represents Sagittarius, this is the story. The only way we're going to create this new story, the change, number 14, number 5, the change of the story is through this process.
Mm. Yeah. And what you feed is what you grow. Where your attention goes, energy flows. So it really is about you having the opportunity to choose if you're going to feed it. It's okay that it comes up.
Yeah.
It's necessary for us to see all of that contrast and to experience all of it in order to make informed choices. So it's like being observant. That's where I feel like the silence is going within and allowing yourself to acknowledge suffering, acknowledge struggle. It's not to negate that those things exist, or that can bring about fear, but also understanding, each stage is necessary and integral, playing a part in what we're creating. And so, it's necessary to be a seed before we're ready to pick the flower. It's just a part of that, the laws of nature in terms of, this life cycle that we're moving through. And so, there can be frustration, but we're still here. We're still in the seed stage. But, and patience. I mean, I don't know. It just comes up all the time. Patience, patience, be patient, right? And it's like, okay, when's the one that says, like, go, go, go? Like, but we do get those. We have had those moments of taking action and taking those steps. And the truth is, being silent or going within is an action. It's a step. Inaction is still a choice. It's still a state of being. So, just being present with whatever is coming forward that's feeling most aligned, no matter what's going on, out there, is feeling like a part of it for sure.
And another thing that spirit just gave me, the first card, what is it called? Suffering in silence or struggling
Right.
in silence?
Yeah, suffering.
Suffering. So either way, but if I didn't know what the card represents, and if I didn't know what's written on the card, this
Mhm.
card actually looks very empowering to me.
Yeah,
If I didn't know the Nine of Swords or the stuff that it says something about suffering or struggling or anything, I would go, this girl, she looks like a warrior. She looks
yeah.
like a badass. She looks like she's ready to face whatever the hell it is out there. She's just ready for it. So so the thing that that's why spirit attracted this to my attention. Be careful, of the spells, of the words, because, like you might look at the situation and perceive it certain way, and then somebody might infiltrate your perception with their own ideas, their own words, their own definitions, their own labels, and then that will start like a tea, infuse your
Mhm.
reality with that. So this is, again, we go back to this 14, this temperance, this balance, this this healing, in a sense, whatever. That be careful who wants to create your story for you and how they want to like impact, manipulate, or influence the way you perceive in anything. Because me looking at that card, I would think this girl is a badass, that she's
Mhm.
ready for anything, she can do it. When I tap into the energy of Nine of Swords and the title of the card, different story. So, again, and that also, you can say collaborates with the Eight of Swords. Eight is the power, the strength, also the year that we just ending, culminating. You know what you've gone through. So don't let anybody else to rewrite your story the way you don't want it to be rewritten, because you know what your story is, and you know what you want your story to be going forward. Or if you don't know, you're figuring it out through the contrast. So I really feel that there is so much mind effing mind
Yes.
effing going on in the world, so be very careful, very careful, not in a sense like, oh my god, now I have to be, like, on big alert. No, just be observant, and not even careful in a way like, on a lookout. Just be observant how whatever information you absorbing into your system, how your body responds, how it makes you feel, how it changes your energy and stuff. And the more we learn to practice, the more we learn to become aware and observe when these changes happen. And okay, what was it? The news? Okay, that person said that. Okay, I saw that image, oh yeah, my mood's gone down. Okay, when was it? When was it? And what was it? And then we know, okay, what to pay attention to or whatever, where we are sensitive. And you have the power. I have the power. We all have the power to bring ourselves up again. So
Mm.
not to spiral deeper into this nightmare or whatever. So that's what I mean. It literally is, rather than allowing someone outside of you to mind effing you, you learn to work with your own mind because you are in charge. So with the temperance, yeah, we are seeding the seed of this vision that we want to create. It will take some work and some time, because we stir in this big ship that's been going in one direction for a long time. It's going to take some time to get it going in different direction. And it is going to take some time, a lot of practice, learning and adjusting. You don't learn new habit in one day. And yeah, this trust in yourself that you can do it, and you will. Look at that girl at the first card, she's ready for everything.
Yeah, I really feel that like that card just doesn't evoke suffering. It
Yes.
looks like she's at the top of her game. She look how she got to the top and there's all this light on the horizon of what's coming in. Same here. So it shows you the power of those words that cast those spells in that if we just like read down this line, patience, suffering in silence, patience, trapped in fear. It's like I feel like the patience is like, wait for it, wait for it. Like the patience is saying, hold on, because that perception, that way of seeing things is changing, is falling away. And so you get to, if I give all that power to just those words, suffering in silence, trapped in fear, if I subscribe a belief to say that, well, now that feels really heavy and then that creates a whole host of things that I really have no problem imagining. Like my brain right away gets real creative with all the ways that that's going to show up. Why can't we give that much power to the opposite? Think of the most empowering words that could be written on these two cards
Hmm.
and change it and say, why doesn't that have just as much likelihood to happen as the worst case scenario? And then if I know that, okay, probably both can't happen. So if I know that's true, it must be somewhere in the middle. Like, of the most catastrophic version and the most euphoric version, somewhere in there lies what I'm really bringing forward into my life when I strip away the beliefs and the things that are really just not they're not real of the mind, they're not real. They're rooted in fear. They're rooted in beliefs that are falling away. And when that happens, they do tend to get louder on their way out. So there's sort of this echo, kind of experience that we're having. But even those words, be careful, beware. They both carry a lot of that kind of ominous energy, but actually their root beware, be aware, have awareness, be careful, be filled with care,
For
take care.
yourself.
Yes. So you can turn it into whatever you want. These are just, that's the way those words were created and made and given energy. And so it's demonstrating for us. And again, the patience block coming in between, like we just can't, two different decks, endless number of cards that could have come forward, and 2 out of 4 say the same exact word on them. 2 out of 4 carry the same numerical frequency. Like it's just these things are speaking to us in subtle ways, but when you take care, when you pause, when you're patient and you really sit with it, you can start to glean more awarenesses of potential. And who's to say that that's not just as possible as the one that has you locked away in this prison over here, you know? So I think that it's kind of out with the old and in with the new, which is all part of the same big cycle. It's just a matter of we're turning it over. And January, of course, is going to be very much about transitioning into that energy.
And that's literally what it is. It's like, yeah, it will take time, have patience, because there is a lot of um and all I can see is like when you learning anything new, you need to do it certain amount of time until it becomes automatic, until it becomes habit. So at the moment there is so much, all this manifestation of the Pisces age and everything we knew that already happened. It is so deeply embedded in our subconscious mind, behavior patterns, the way we think, our neurological pathways. They're well trained to go in one direction. Like you say, you tell me something negative to imagine, oh, I can tell you a million things. But if somebody tells you like, oh, positive thing, give me an example, you go, oh, I can't think of anything right now, because these neurological pathways are not well trained, right? So just have patience, because, and this is what I keep saying to all my clients, we are transmuting something that is not yours or mine. It's been around on this planet for thousands of years. So, just have patience with yourself, because you're just going through your vessel, for transmutation through mind, through yours, from all of us. None of us was born like, oh yeah, I was this ashamed, guilty, worthless child. Like, no, babies kiss themselves when they first see themselves in the mirror. It's a proven fact. Most people have the picture of their toddler kissing themselves in the mirror. They don't think that way about themselves. It's the program, it's the source. So yeah, so this is the 2025, and just like you said, with the program to get, and they really do, and I have personal experience with this, they really do get the loudest when they are on their way out because they don't
Mm.
want to die. And the same way, this way this world is built at the moment, the people in charge, the system in charge, they're gonna get very loud before they get out. So yes, so that's why we need to learn to master that which we can control, which is yourself, nothing else. So yeah,
Brings us right back there to that center point and the silence that
and
comes
the
in.
patience.
Yeah, and the patience. Yeah. So I just think that these cards are actually quite perfect, on
It
point.
gives you a good idea what we will be dealing with and why.
Yeah. And so that's what we're really talking about is having an awareness of the energies that are around, but it doesn't set anything in stone because we decide and you can decide through your own personal choices within your little world, your microcosm, and allow that to be what you're contributing, what you're bringing, what you're carrying through with you. So to me, that's the most empowering position to take is one where I see wherein lies my power and then exercising within that. And so it's laying some groundwork for us as we step into this next year.
But how empowering knowing that you are the one that is in control of your life,
Yeah.
right?
Because as those external things come up and set you, whether it's viewed as a setback or a redirection or however it presents itself, then you're back to the drawing board with a fresh opportunity to create again from what you're given. And that's not to gloss over, the gathering of our bearings when we get redirected or when something comes about that we weren't expecting or, is different than we envisioned. We start to have the template of having done this a few times to know that we can look back on those other times that we were redirected or sideswiped or in some way taken off guard, good, bad, indifferent, however we process that surprise energy. And then now knowing what we know about where it led us and where we ended up from that particular experience, who's to say this one doesn't have something just as life altering in a way that ends up being the biggest blessing, the best redirection, anything that ever was. So we just continue to have that sense of wonder and curiosity too for what we can make out of whatever we're presented with, whatever challenges come our way.
Absolutely. So I'm very curious what the last card's gonna say.
Yeah, so we have one last card we're going to pull from the Oracle of Awakening, another favorite of ours, which should bring forward always some very illuminating, and I'm sort of setting that intention as sort of this kind of showing us the template of the energy available, so maybe some best guidance,
Mhm.
advice on the path forward then as we navigate.
The path of awakening,
Yes,
the
in
full
that
potential of
awakening.
who you came here to be.
Yes. And that one, okay. Perfect. Rebirth,
Oh wow, perfect. Yes.
metamorphosis, new beginnings. Yeah. So look at all of that. I mean, my gosh, beautiful energies there. Is that like a scarab beetle?
Arab, right? And that
A
is
scarab?
the Egyptian symbol for death and rebirth.
Yeah. Let me
And
see
the
if I can.
wings, it will give you the wings to fly.
Yeah, it's very much like a phoenix energy too. Like again, rising up from whatever, it is that we have been moving through and definitely feeling some eclipsean energies
Yes,
here.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Definitely I've been feeling this for a long time. This Aries new moon solar eclipse, on 29th of March, which is right before Neptune moves into Aries for the first time. This is gonna be probably the most important eclipse of the entire year, and it's also equinox. It's
Mhm.
the springtime, so I really feel that that is gonna be very important turn of events. Let's just say.
So the patience, and then there's something significant here that really brings forward that rebirth energy. So the mantra says, there is something being born in you. Create space for its arrival. Like those sandbags, again, like creating space, creating that buoyancy. So when a rebirth is imminent, it is generally tied to a death of some sort. It may happen as the result of a relationship ending, or the end of a job, or even the death of a loved one. Or maybe it's not as obvious as these examples. There are small shifts in who we are becoming that are less noticeable. And these small changes accumulate over time and will eventually result in a larger, more noticeable transformation. There are many opportunities for rebirth throughout our lifetimes. To the Egyptians, the winged scarab beetle represented rebirth and renewal. The mythology spoke of the sun being pushed across the sky every day by a giant scarab, the god of Khepri. If this card has come up for you, it may be a signal that you are at the end of a cycle, or that there is some sort of closure or death process happening in one or more aspects of your life. Often, when we are feeling crunchy, stressed, out of alignment, or overly emotional, there is something asking for your attention so that it can be released. The eventual result of this release is the rebirth, the you without the energy that was not serving you. You are or will soon be in a new beginning, a fresh start of some kind. Rejoice at the prospect of rebirth. You are entering the unknown. You are going to grow in new ways. Celebrate your journey. Acknowledge what you've been through and how far you have come. And finally, the affirmation says, I am ever evolving. I am growing smarter, wiser, and more enlightened every moment. Wow.
Amen. Aho.
Yeah,
That is,
so be it. So mote it be. I
yeah.
mean, that was like all of these things, like this idea of what we have to release and we're poised to step into to celebrate what's possible. And yet in the in between, there's stuff to unpack. There's things to release in order to create space. And if we've been resisting that at all, then yes, the universe is going to give us a little push, like the scarab beetle pushing it across the sky. It's like we'll start to feel the tightness because it's not in alignment, it's not in flow. So if we resist releasing things and we hold on to them past their date of, purpose in our life, or they've served their purpose, then things will come up that are going to help to facilitate that along. And that's where we get the kicking and screaming reference from, and then it gets a little louder, it gets a little messier, it gets noisier, all of those things. So while we can think of ways we're all, doing that on our little, on our levels, this is what we're talking about in the big stage too, is that it's past time for certain things to be turned over and for rebirth to occur. And so yeah, there's friction in it, there's noise, there's all of these things that we witness. And so that's a really beautiful card with quite a big message for new year. I mean, ending and new beginning.
Yeah, this is literally what the card on its own, like it's telling you exactly what the year 9 is about. It's the year of death and rebirth, because in 2026, with the Wheel of Fortune and everyone in new signs, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Chiron, and the nodes in July 2026, be going in a different direction. So now, if through this process of releasing the old identities, especially at the beginning of January, we'll have Mars retrograde back into Cancer on the 6th, right before the nodes shift. And then we're going to have the full moon in Cancer with Mars in Cancer. you know, it's about where you're going from 2026, depending what you're leaving behind in 2025. You're releasing the old, the bags, to make the space for the new, and then you go, right? So it really is everybody's choice.
Yeah. So it's an opportunity to just really get clear, which is really what, this energy is saying, to take a look at what is your present reality, what you're working with, whatever that is, and really start to envision what you want that to look like in bloom. When that comes into fullness, when it is birthed anew, when that metamorphosis is emerging from that cocoon, unfurling its wings, what do you want it to look like? And so, you know, the thought would be that most people don't want it to look like what this would suggest over here, this trapped in fear and feeling limited and with versus the light that's coming in. And I just feel like it is one of those exercises and like what's the first thing you see when you look at these cards because people are going to see it all different. I see the light. I see that there's light on the horizon. I see the light coming in there. So it's shining something that you just hadn't noticed yet. You haven't seen it yet because they're covered. They're focusing on the things that feel very daunting, that feel very limiting, but actually there's a lot of opportunity coming in on the horizon to work with to really spread those wings.
Well, the first thing I see when I look at the cards is just the woman, the warrior. And then it's
Mhm.
interesting because now I'm just looking at, like at the beginning of the journey, you have the portal and the balloon that's leading you. Like, this is where you are. What do you want to release? And you have this quantum field, this, multiverse, whatever out there. And then on the other side of it is that scarab. And you see the other side of that portal, again, the moon, it's an eclipse. So in a sense, it's saying like, yeah, this is this is not a coincidence, it's not an accident, it's exactly happening in accordance with the divine plan, with the divine with the destiny, if you want to call it then. And it's happening right on time because this is the year 9. It's the time to tie up the loose ends and say goodbye. Saturn, Neptune in Pisces, bye bye. Because I mean, they're gonna retrograde back into Pisces, but then they're going to move into Aries at the beginning of 2026. They're going to have a conjunction in Aries in February.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
so that's it. Like, that really is it. This is the opportunity to free yourself from the old karma, from the past, from the old identities, and consciously choose for yourself, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? Yeah, I might not have a full clarity, but what's the next step? And then you go for it. And then, yeah, maybe by the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, you look back and you realize how far you've gone, even though you might have thought that it was 3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Exactly. However you experienced it, that's where it's moving to. It's just funny. It's making me think of like I'm seeing all the memes now of like, oh, good riddance 2024. I can't wait for 2025. Like, and I'm thinking, I remember seeing all those last year. The same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
this belief that like what's out there is got to be infinitely better than what I have here. So there's this presence again of appreciating the moment that
Yeah.
we're in because the other one I'm seeing is like it looks like a huge like fire and it's like the amount of sage I need to cleanse 2024. Like it's a joke, saying like 2024 was a dumpster fire, like we're gonna need all this sage to cleanse it. And it's like, rinse repeat year over year. It's like the same perspective. It's whatever we're in that we're so fickle as a humanity often that we can romanticize, whether it be the past or the future, and just this presence, this patience to be here now, back to the pin in the map. You are here. You've got this seed of potential. How are you going to use it? Put your energy in that, right? Not what's already happened or what will be, but what's right here and now. And put into it, more of what you wish to experience and how you want it to feel, not all the potential that you're being fed externally to taint that or to direct it or mold it in a certain way that truly is not your soul's desire. So through the patience, through the silence, going within, you will be able to hear more clearly from your higher self, what it is that you really wish to bring forward.
And I just really want to add to that, like all these memes and stuff about 2025 versus 2024 and what an awful year this was. And I'm like, why? Like for me, it's just like, why was it an awful year? And this is where I feel that, and I'm not trying to be on a high spiritual horse or something, high horse, but where we need to be mindful how we're looking at where we come from and how, like this journey, how far we've gone, because it made us exactly who we are. Because if you don't learn the lessons, we're bound to repeat them, which is usually what tends to happen. And also, wherever you go, you take yourself with you, with all the baggage, So it doesn't matter whether you enter into 2025 or 2026 or 2030. It's all coming with you. So 2024, let's dump it, let's burn it. But what are you burning? You're bringing it with you, until you make the conscious decision to transmute this energy and make it into something different, it's coming with you exactly in the same shape and form, with the same frequency where you left it. So, and it's the same for me, it's the same for everyone. I'm not saying I'm any better or any different. I'm just saying we need to, and again, this is a program. Why do we even look at these things? They're bullshit. Obviously, they're bullshit because even we know that, oh, it was the same thing last year. They just changed the date. They just changed the 4 for the 5, right? But that's what I mean. Until we learn and choose every opportunity as something to grow from and to see the meaning behind of this, and yeah, and in a sense we can chuckle on it and say like, oh, okay, spirit, high five, good sense of humor to bring this stuff around again. But yeah, if we just look at it from this point of resentment and like, okay, let's just quickly move away from it and hide it behind the carpet or wardrobe or something, we're just gonna recreate it, attract the same thing, re-experience the same thing, and then 1 year from now you'll feel exactly the same way. Dumb 2025, good riddance, let's go 2026, and the same. So the change starts with you. It doesn't matter which year it is, which country, which persons, the change starts with you, which starts with me, and this is how we're going to change the world. So this is again to be mindful of the labels.
Yeah. Mindful, careful, and again, pull those words apart and really break them down, and don't just allow them to carry the same weight that they always have if it's something that ends up feeling heavy or like a burden versus a tool that you can use to glean new awarenesses.
Yeah.
So I just think that there's a lot of opportunity for that reflection. Really, that's another key word, is that, inner reflection and inner wisdom really serving us when we allow ourselves to have the time and space to do that, which is what patience and silence both speak to here.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. Those are beautiful messages. They are very empowering because they, especially the swords cards, they're telling you, well, it's in your mind, so you decide. It's your thoughts. But yeah, we know that no matter what decisions we make, we are always going to be redirected exactly where we're supposed to go. Like again, yeah, either in a flow where it feels peaceful and comfortable, or kicking and screaming. Either way, we go in where we're going.
You decide, but you can also take like I said, that would be to me the temperance, the two extremes. In the middle is just sort of like you can be in a moment and yeah, it can be frustrating and so many things and you can express it, but it's about bringing forward healthy ways to do that, ways that support you versus those things that are more damaging to us, having healthy outlets and support systems and ways to navigate from the midway, a way that's more healed. It's not delusional to say like, oh, we're never going to have a rainy day. We're never going to have a day where we feel low or whatever. Of course we are, because if we don't, we really ought to be saying like, what the heck's going on? Like, we want to have the totality of all the experiences. At least that's what our souls chose to do. So we're here to have them. So it's how am I going to have them? That's where my power lies. How am I going to take this ride? And so I think that's just really something to contemplate and consider, in these first days of the new year, and really thinking about setting the tone forward for yourself and some intentions for how you want to experience it more than what you're going to experience, right? Because this brings us back to that notion of really tapping into the frequency, the energy of the experience versus the details, where we began with the people, places, and things, those minor ones, which is really, what showed up for us today to show us, that it's all a matter of perception.
Yeah, it's the feeling. How do you want to feel? What is the feeling that the experience will offer to you? Because behind everything that we want, whether it's a boyfriend, it's a car, it's a handbag, it's a tarot deck, it's a whatever, is the feeling we seek in. Do I want to feel loved? Do I want to feel whatever I want to feel? Excited? Doesn't matter, but it's the feeling you seek in. So how do you want to feel? And then the universe will take care of the details, and you just answer the call and flow with the direction that feels the best at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and it's very, I know, because this is what I'm struggling with my control fixed sign chart. It is the life would be so easy if we could just really go with the flow. But then the ego is like, well, let me take control, let me be in charge, right? But the ego is so limited, especially because of the past. And it's got its function, obviously, it's got its purpose. But yeah, the more we learn to just flow, like the trust and surrender are the key, and just flow with it and take action when it feels right, and don't push ourselves into doing what doesn't feel right. Just like Richie, like co-creating with these things that we cannot explain or understand, which is, the voice of your higher self. And then suddenly everything starts falling into place, and it's all these synchronicities, serendipities, and it all works out much better than you could ever envision from our little vantage point over here. So that's what we also training us to learn, because this will be a guiding force going forward, like they're based on whatever is going to be happening out there. It might be more and more difficult and confusing to figure out what is the truth. So you need to learn to seek it within you, because your inner compass is unique to you. It's like calibrated exactly to you.
Mm. Yeah. So there's, again, brings you back to trusting that, no matter what's going on externally. And so the more that you improve your connection to your center point, the easier it is for you to hear and follow that guidance despite whatever else is going on around you. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the metamorphosis of the Pisces age human towards the Aquarian 2.0.
Yes. It is a process for sure. So
Oh, yeah.
we're somewhere in between that whole turning to mush and emerging as the Aquarian butterfly. We're somewhere in
It's the
there.
scarab. With the
Yeah, we're in the beetle stage, okay? But eventually we'll sprout wings.
yeah, all the feet on the ground and hands on the deck.
Yes. It's coming. Wow. Well, we have a year ahead of us to explore together. So I look forward to unpacking and seeing, like I said, I'm making a mental note. I want to look back at January of this 2024 just to kind of see even then like how much things have changed and how we've grown even just in these ways. But
Yeah, that was the new moon in Capricorn reading, because we used to do them still as lunations.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. That'll be easy to spot then. I'll see what cards came forward just out of curiosity. But yeah, it's all happening.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Marissa, give people your latest and first announcements for 2025.
Well, as I'm working on getting myself into the groove, I have a lot of fun work cut out for me this month because we're diving into our annual 2025 year ahead readings. So I have many scheduled at this point that I'll be diving into, but I'm actually going to be doing now a countdown to the new year and through the first week of the new year. My early bird pricing is back for that special. So the 2025 year ahead spread, it's 25 cards. It's a two-part video recorded reading. It's massive, oracle and tarot guidance. So I'm going to be diving into that in this first week of the new year. And that is available for anyone who would like to join to get that inside look at the year ahead in terms of the energy that's available and just kind of tapping into that with your free will for your year ahead. And yeah, kicking off a new year. So that means the January Empowerment Sharecast will be going, where I do my weekly card pulls and other musings. And then the Empowerment Packs all kicking off for January. So I have a number of ways that we can work together in the new year coming right up.
And I know for sure that if people still very curious about the solstice, you got that available too. And
Yes,
also
yeah.
cord cutting, perhaps,
Oh yeah, the
end of
cord
the
cutting
year.
is a good one. I do have thank you. I always appreciate your reminders. That the cord cutting, I have a Yule and a solstice spread available. These are all just seasonal fun, but they do help to give some insights into, especially this transition energy from one season to the next and from now one year to the next. So all my specials will be in the link, in the description, and I'm always happy to connect with anyone that's can't decide or, curious to know more.
Like, I want more. I want all of it.
Well, it is all fun. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to these year ahead readings because that gives us like collectively a color, crystal, spirit animal for the year, just focal points that are fun to come again full circle to after this whole year um, to see what's coming up for this next one. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I can definitely confirm that, it was pretty spot on for me this entire year. So, yeah, curious
The
to
things
see
we
what's
couldn't have
ahead.
seen coming. It's in there.
Yeah. Cool. Well, and
Yeah.
yeah, as for me, I still have my seasonal sale running until January 2nd. So if anybody wants to book some readings, you can find things on my website, moonlightsoul369. And with that, I want to thank everyone for watching us throughout 2024. Thank you, Marissa, for participating in this co-creation. And yeah, I'm excited about what else can we co-create in 2025.
Yeah. I'm excited to find out that anything's possible. So,
Exactly. All right. Much love to everyone. Have a great 2025, and we speak to you with the February one next time.
right.
Bye.